Alright, hello, welcome back everybody. Yes, we're doing another background build and another snake enclosure. This is my first snake Medusa's enclosure. I had her moved to one of my other tanks. She is in shed, so this gives us some time to work on this. What I did is I started off with some silicone and I sealed the sides as best that I could. Looks ugly, but once it dries clear, it won't look too bad and stuff to cover it. Then I silicone the entire back, so it can give enough texture and some support for the foam to adhere to. So that will cure overnight, and tomorrow we can jump into the foam. I have some 3-inch expanding foam, 1-inch expanding foam left from the previous build that I had. So we're just going to hope that gets us through this. And I have a couple artifacts that I'm going to show how I'm going to place it. This theme is going to be more, her name is Medusa, so I'm going to add some Greek architecture. Hoping that mimics this this type of look or theme as best as it can. They deserve to have a nice enclosure. So first step, seal, silicone on the back, helps with the humidity as well as with any water that might come to the back and could potentially drip out. So that helps give it some support there. I didn't do it on the bottom. I don't know if I was really supposed to do that or not, but that's a story. That's a conversation for another day. But we're going to start here, and then we'll come back tomorrow and add the foam and place our artifacts, and we'll show what we have, and we'll get that going. But this is a step-by-step process of how this works. So stick around to the next. All right. I used a total of 4 expanding foam bottles at the 1-inch level because of how much it expanded versus the black one I had last time. Even though it both says 1 inch, this puffed up a lot more. I don't know, there's a difference between the white one and the black one, but I added some branches, the skulls, crocodile skull, a couple pots, the cork bark, and I'm probably going to cut some of this once it dries so I can see where it doesn't need to puff out as much. The little artifact is a little deep in there, but we're going to make it work. I didn't add the vines in because it was just too much. It was just a project already as it is. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 pots for some plants that I can put in here, as well as my cork bark hide, whole sky up above type of ordeal they can slither through. So I'll probably cut some of this off, after it's dried. So I am going to preface this by a trust the process situation here. So we're going to let this cure, and then we'll take a look at it tomorrow night, and we'll work on the next part of this project, and probably, like I said, cut some of the edges off that puffed up too much, silicone, douse it in the dirt, cocoa fiber, as well as some moss. I have the sphagnum moss, but I also have the green colored moss, pillow moss, I think it's called, that I'm going to mix with it to add some more color. So we'll take a look. So I went ahead and did the foam all over, and then I stuck some artifacts in. I put this white Greek looking pillar down, this branch, this terracotta pot. This is a Medusa head, small, a piece of cork bark, and then a glass kind of dome with flowers in it that's under these books that I had to put on there to put some pressure to keep it in place. After all of that, we doused the entire top with cocoa fiber, and I'm trying to do this instead of waiting for it to cure and add silicone and then the cocoa fiber to see if this is an easier approach to it adhering, and it would reduce an extra step. So this is going to cure for about 24 hours, and then tomorrow we'll tap off the excess and see how it's looking like. But this is just the next part of the process. It's not as much clutter as I'd like in the background, but this will have to work for now. I can always add hanging plants everywhere, and that was like the plan. I did put this piece of cork bark in it that she could climb up into if she'd like, as well, which is what I did in Draco's enclosure. But for now, we're going to let this cure, and then we'll come back afterwards to see how it adhered and what the next step is. So what I'm doing here is I am using some Gorilla Max Strength Construction clear adhesive, and I am using this black humid hide to create her other hide for Medusa, but this boring black, I want to cover it with like these leaves. These actually came from some Dollar Tree plants that I cut them off of, as well as I'll use some of this sphagnum moss as well in the crevices when I'm done designing it, but I just kind of want to see if I can make it blend in with nature. So it seems like maybe she has the idea that she thinks she's burrowing underground, hopefully. That's the plan, or just be very hidden, and that's what I'm doing here. So just doing like a little dab of that, and just, yeah, and that's pretty much what I'm doing. I'm just going to do that all over, and then in the middle parts I will, like in the open spots, I'll just add some moss. I was going to do some of her reptile chip, but I don't want to waste that. I want her to have like enough to burrow. And so I want to use all the reptile chip that I have. I got a breeder block, so I hope that is plenty. I guess I will find out. Because even so, even with like the cocoa fiber bricks, 3 to 4, still not really enough for Draco's enclosure, which is a 4x2x2 120 gallon. Because I want it to be around, 4 inches in depth. After the silicone and the foam is cured, I showing you the results. So we used a Greek architectural type of pillar, added a branch, a terracotta pot, which I'll probably put like a pretty floral fake plant in. I don't really think I'm going to use real plants in the snake's enclosures because I feel like they'll just ruin them. That could change later. This is the Medusa. It was very small, but I could kind of use a couple different things in the background, so it ended up being fine. I would have preferred it to be a lot bigger. Just for reference, if I back up, that's how small it is, but it's just something to add in the back. I put the piece of cork bark in there, excuse me, so she can actually slither right up into it and come up and like wrap around it if she wanted to, similar to what I did in Draco's enclosure. And then this is a ball, like a succulent, it's fake, but succulent floral glass globe I just put that there for color. I feel like the dirt kind of covered up a lot of it, but it's okay. And then I went ahead and then siliconed in on the spots that the dirt did not adhere well. I used the moss, I used some fake leaves, a vine, greenery string there, as well as you can see, some of the sphagnum moss trickled in the back. And so in this scenario, I did not cure the foam and then add silicone and then the dirt. I just simply did the expanding foam and then put the dirt right on it. And I'm going to be honest, this saved this step, because regardless, since it's white, you're typically going to have to touch up some spots anyway. I feel like when the foam is black, it blends in a little nicer and it's a little bit more forgiving. But either way, depending on just what the style that you're going for, it's just completely up to you. But I did like this method better. It saved time. So you place your items, do your foam. After you've siliconed the back for the foam to adhere, place your items and then foam, and then just go right in with some cocoa fiber substrate to create your dirt background and support around the items. And yeah, and then it's forgiving. You can cut some of the foam back if you wanted to, if you didn't like the way it came out. For me, I really didn't do that. Just kind of did swirlies all around, and that's that. And now for the substrate, I went ahead and did reptile chip. There's cocoa fiber and Draco's, and so far it's okay. I did wet it heavily last night and then just mixed it around for about 10 minutes just to make sure that the whole enclosure was saturated, so the humidity stayed okay. I don't think it's reading accurate on this one side because it's 39 and then 64 over here, so I don't really know, but it's damp, so I know it's fine. But this is reptile chip, and for reference, I used a breeder block, so it was about 32 bucks, and it's a lot of substrate, and it technically fills up that whole acrylic barrier, which is probably what, 3 inches, 3.5, 4 inches maybe. So I think honestly, if you're trying to give them a lot of substrate to burrow, I would use the whole breeder block. And again, 4x2x2 to be a roach's enclosure for reference for the size. I believe in giving them a lot of substrate because they like to burrow. They like to, dig underneath, and I've caught her doing that in the past. And when I didn't see there was a lot of substrate, it kind of felt bad. So I definitely gave her a lot more this time, and we'll just see how she does in it. But this definitely looks pretty decent. I added some orchid color purple, vining flower, the greenery, same thing on this side. I'm going to mount the UVB strip on the inside, and then her basking and then ceramic heat emitters will be on the top. Once those go out, I'll just use those as supplementary heating options, and I'll switch to a deep heat projector because I had to use 2 CHEs in the dome to get the desired temperatures, so I feel like it had to work a lot harder. But this is what it's looking like. I'm going to finish up my final touches, putting her hides back in there, and I'll show in the next clip what that looks like with the hides. She is in shed right now, so I'm probably going to give her a nice little warm bath soak so she can do her potty business, and maybe that'll help her relax a little bit. We're going to finish this up. I did install a lock on the doors, and we're going to see how that worked out. But stay tuned to the next clip for the final review. Alright, so this is the final result. I added this little hut, and I'm gonna get this hook removed off of it, but it opens from the bottom. It was from Michael's Arts and Crafts. It's like a birdhouse, but she would fit in it. And if she doesn't, for some reason, because she's fake Bertha, I'll put it in Draco's enclosure, but we'll give it a shot. This is her normal hide that I painted a while back with her name on it. That's normally what she stays in. And I don't like where the UVB strip is, but this will have to do for now. And then her basking lamp is there. I'm going to add her primary heat source though next, which is the ceramic heat emitters water dish. And so this is one of those black humid hide boxes, and I siliconed moss and leaves all over it, so it kind of look hidden. And I zip tied her little ball on the support bar. So when she gets wild at night and she wants to, like, become crazy pants, she can go up there. And she is, I just put her in the tub to soak, and she pooped and peed, and it was so gross, but she looked very angry at me. She didn't strike, so that was a plus, but she didn't look like very much of a happy camper, so I want to get her in here as soon as possible in hopes that she'll settle down and start to feel better. I think she's going into shed, so her eyes are blue. And she's making these kind of noises a little bit here and there, and it makes me think she's dehydrated, or I'm hoping it's not the signs of respiratory infection. I'm hoping I'm just like overthinking it, like, and I'm just being a hypochondriac, but I'm definitely going to keep a close eye on her, and if she doesn't improve or seem any better, I just know shed makes them like feel like crap, and they're really dry, so I don't know. I don't want to just assume, but I'm definitely will make sure and take her to the vet. If I need to. And she's going around there. Trying to see where her little head is. She had it out for a second, but she's back there somewhere. I'll have another clip of her noodling around shortly, but I think this is cute. Like, and I did install like the little lock here because I lost a little pinhole lock. It's off right now because it's open, but I'll show you what it would look like after and then how we installed that. But this is a lot more secure, so just in case that she wanted to go on an adventure, she wouldn't be able to because that would not be safe. But yeah, I'm gonna add probably a couple more plants, like, I'll probably zip tie them around and have them hanging and whatnot, but I hope that she likes this. She deserves a nice enclosure, which she already had a nice enclosure, but I definitely upgraded it so it was like jungle-esque, but Medusa themed somewhat. Whatever I could get. So hoping this is what will make her happy. And if you have any questions or feedback, comments, anything like that, I'd appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching, and stay tuned to the next couple pictures and clips of Medusa being Medusa.